Hello, welcome to the TryLine podcast. I'm your host, Bo. This is my co-host, the people's host, Denny. How you going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad yourself.
Good. My pants are off. Yours are on. We're ready to go. Mitch Barnett. That's where I want to start. The story of the weekend, possibly. Now, we didn't get to watch this game. We're at a wedding. But when I checked the score, when I was one-eyed about 8:30 at night, I saw Penrith 38, Knights 20. And I thought, this is just your typical Penrith robbing. They won by 18 points, but then that was not the story of the game. Mitch Barnett was the story of the game. Absolute brain snap from him. It was 30 minutes in. The Knights were actually in front 6-4. Chris Smith runs a lead through the line. Mitch Barnett hits him square in the face with a forearm, elbow. What's going on here?
Oh, look, it was probably the worst, probably foul play I've seen in a little while. Like, there's no reason or no need to chuck your elbow up there. It's cost his team a chance at winning that game. They were down one man for the rest of the 50 or so minutes. And Penrith, obviously being, a good team, capitalised on the fact that they were a man up and scored all their tries down either of the edges. Sorry, but you got to think that was a huge game for the Knights, and for him to come out and do what he did, he'd be kicking himself, I think.
A massive game for the Knights, considering what they've got coming in the next 5 weeks now. That was the start of a really tough stretch for them, and the confidence boost they would take being not only winning that game, but being like winning 3 in a row, beating the best team in the comp, the defending premiers. Massive moment. This charge has been sent straight to the judiciary. He's been charged with a dangerous contact, but no grade at the time of recording. I think, personally, I thought it was a minimum 6 weeks. Dumb, unnecessary, no place for it on the field, especially with a guy that's off the ball, can't defend himself, didn't see it coming. I think it's got to be a minimum of 6 weeks. But I looked at the guidelines for the charges, all right? Unless they stack on another charge, like striking or something, he's looking at a max 5 games, 4 with the early guilty plea. But I think they could probably tack on at least a striking charge. I don't know if it's in the rules, but I've obviously people can get more than 5 games for that. But if they tack on a striking charge, then he's looking at up to 7 games for a first offence. So it'd be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, definitely. We're unsure as if they can stack charges, but I think that if you can, you should.
What are you thinking for a minimum? I was thinking 6.
Yeah, 6 to 8 minimum.
Yeah, I think it's just you've got to come down on harder. If we're coming down hard on incidental contact with the head, then contact that's on purpose really needs to be smashed.
Yeah, no, for sure.
As for the Knights, I thought they still managed to attack pretty well. I watched the mini version of the game. I thought they looked pretty good when they shift the ball. Gagai he's had a career resurgence.
Yeah. Oh, well, you got to think that they scored 14 points with a man down, so...
Yeah, and they were finding space on the edges too, which is nuts. Like we were talking about it last year when teams would get put in a player in the bin and then they were still outnumbering teams on the edge. It makes no sense.
Yeah, no.
But the Knights managed to get it done. Someone's got to check if Gagai's wearing a Maroons jersey underneath that Knights jersey, because I think he's playing so well. I think it's good news for the Knights. Kalen should be back this week, and if they can attack that well without him, you got to think he's only going to help that attack.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely.
All right, let's go to the first game of the round. Bit of a surprise here, I thought. The Dragons 12, Sharks 36. I think a lot of people were expecting a tight game, especially in the wet. But the Sharks just too good.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if it's one of those ones where the Sharks were too good or the Dragons were too bad. I thought it was a low game from the Dragons, though.
I thought Ben Hunt was all right. And then other than that, they didn't really have a lot of help. I think Tarek Sims was a bit of a passenger in this one.
Sloan.
Big sin bin in the 15th minute. I think the scores, I think it was 0-0 actually, or something like that. 15 minutes in, the game was pretty competitive, back and forth, plenty of teams throwing plenty. Then I think the Sharks scored 10 points while the Dragons were a man down. Can't blame that for the loss. I think the Dragons had plenty of time to rectify that, and the Sharks were just far better in everything they did. I think Nico Hines is firming as the buy of the year.
Yeah, no, for sure. I thought he had a really good game. Someone I wanted to talk about was Tyrell Sloan. Or his name Tyrell.
Yeah,
Tyrell.
Tyrell.
Yeah, Tyrell Sloan. I think he's got the potential to be a really good player, but just defensively, there was a few times where Nicholas Hines, he ran straight over him for his try, or straight at him, sorry, and it was kind of just like a grab at the jersey or whatever. When Matakavali made his break, Sloan kind of wrapped him up for maybe a couple seconds and then let him go, and he was able to. I think that might have been the same play. Matakavali makes a break, gets tackled, then one off the ruck to Nicholas, and he runs in and scores. I think.
Do you think it's a fitness issue? Because his meters are way down as well on what you would expect from a fullback in today's game. His meters are way, way down, and that's kind of hurting the Dragons too. Do you think it's a fitness thing, or do you think? What are you thinking?
I'm not sure. I mean, it could play a part in why his running meters are so down and that, but I'm not too sure. When it comes to defense, that's more of an attitude thing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm going to look at his meters here. He's averaging 68 meters this year, total of 204 meters on the year. Most fullbacks are collecting that
Per game.
in almost a game.
Yeah, Tommy Turbo. That's like...
So that's,
yeah.
They need a bit more output from him. The fullback they let go, Dufty, I think he's playing all right at the Dogs as well at the moment. So
yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
He's going pretty good.
Yeah, he's looking... I think all the Dogs are buying into what they're trying to do there at the moment, so that's good news for them. Anyway, the Sharks, great win for them. Really good signs for what they're trying to do at the club. I know we had a look today at all the players that have got points and what positions are getting the most points. I think the winger got snubbed again here. I thought Matty Cavallo was outstanding in this game, and he got injured pretty early in the game too, and I thought he was still just unbelievable. So they got 2 points out of 144 possible points this year. The wingers have got 2, so that's good news.
Who was it? Taylor May on the weekend? So before this weekend, they were all 1.
Yeah, and Ravalawa was the other one, and he got a hat trick and got 1 point. So I feel like you got to get a hat trick to get a point.
Well, yeah.
If you're a winger, you got to get a hat trick. Otherwise, it's no points.
You'd think you'd get more points for a hat trick.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's go Tigers Warriors. I heard a lot of disappointing things about this game, to be honest. The Tigers against 12 men with pretty much the whole game to go. 10 of the last 11 minutes was at 12 men. They couldn't find the try line. They remain without a win for 2021. That'd be very disappointing for them. Where are you at here?
There's not much to say about this Tigers side. Like, I think this is where a lot of people thought they'd be, and I don't know what's going on with them. Like, is it attitude? Yeah. What is it?
It just seems like no one buys into what they're trying to do.
Because they've got some talent on their side.
Yeah.
Like Luciano Leilua is good. I like Alex Twile. Jacob Little's not too bad.
It's funny that you bring up Leilua. Interesting moment in this match. He chases a grubber through, appears to get it down and celebrates as if it's a sure thing. The referee then calls a 20-meter tap, and they don't look at it in a time and an era where we look at everything.
Yeah,
like I can't even remember how many times we've looked at a guy being held up when he's going nowhere near the line, and they don't check this. Personally, I think it was a try. I thought he got it down.
Me too.
And I've seen less be given, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, I want to bring up that point where you said that they, the video refs, they look at pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I think it was in the same game with Matt Lodge. He gets held up, right? I remember we were watching this. He gets held up, and then the ref calls time out and goes to check it, and he was already running back to the 10-meter line.
He was too. Exactly right.
Like,
he'd already given up.
Yeah, he ran back to the 10-meter line to play the ball, and the refs stopped the game. Video ref.
And we still have to muck around with that, but we don't go and look at possible try-scoring situation. And you know what? If they don't take the tap, if the other team doesn't take the tap, the bunker checks the restart anyway, still. So why wouldn't the bunker tip him off and say, oh, this is closer than what we think. Why don't we have a look at this?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Anyway, the Tigers had a chance to win the game, and they didn't win the game. I don't think it lost them the game, but it certainly didn't help. An interesting moment in this one was actually Robbie Farah on the sideline. So fans sent in report to 2GB, I think, and I'll just read you the quote. In the closing stages of the game, with the match on the line, Robbie Farah was venting abuse loudly. about the team's decisions to the players. There was an interchange and he told the player coming off, "Don't complain to me. It was that fucking C up there," pointing to the coach's box.
Oh,
The F words and C words from Robbie were incredible, and in front of a shocked crowd, it got so bad that Nathan Kalis, our defensive coach, had to summon Robbie Farah over to the sideline to calm down. Okay, Robbie Farah, it's important to note, Robbie Farah has obviously denied these claims, said he was blowing up at one of the staff on the sideline because there was a communication breakdown about an interchange that was meant to be made. Yep. Nothing whatsoever to do with the coach's thoughts.
Oh, look, at the end of the day, I guess it sucks to be losing.
It does.
And, I mean, so what? He says a couple of things in the heat of the moment. Even if they are true, if they're not true, like, he's only human. So
I think you just hit the nail on the head. It sucks to be losing. It does. And it sucks every week. And especially when they should have won this game, bro.
Yeah.
They 100% should have won this game. And they just couldn't get over the line. And I think he's venting a bit of frustration. There is a bit of a history with people saying that Robbie is behind moving coaches behind removing coaches at the West Tigers. I'm not going to say he said it because I wasn't there. I don't know. There's conflicting reports, but I don't know. Just the Tigers are a bit of an easy target at the moment, I think. And as long as they keep losing, there's going to be stories like this popping up about them every single week.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on to the Rabbitohs and Roosters. Rabbitohs 28, Roosters 16. I think that's 4 in a row for the Rabbitohs and Roosters. I say it all the time. I'm not going to pick the Roosters against the Rabbitohs. I said it last 3 times. And it comes to the game, I'm like, I think the Roosters are playing a little bit better. And then the Rabbitohs just get it done. I think, like one of the other games they played last year, I think it was the Roosters beating themselves again, early especially.
Yeah.
I think the first one was a terrible defensive read on Cam Murray, busts through the line and scores. And then I think the second try was off a quick tap. And then they passed it, dropped it, and Cam Murray laid on a try for the winger.
Alex Johnson.
How did you see these 2 tries?
Oh, mate. That Cam Murray, his first one, sorry. Oh, that was so soft. Like, he just put on a bit of footwork in front of Victor Radley, I think it was. He missed the tackle, and he just glides right through. That second one...
He was touched.
No, I don't think he was. For the second one, the 20-metre tap, I think... who was it that tried to spread the ball? I think they tried to spread it out to the right centre or something, and he's just dropped it cold. And then
I think Billy Smith dropped the ball. I think he was the one. I don't remember who tried to shift it, but Billy Smith is the one that dropped it.
I think it might have been Tedesco.
Yeah,
I think when you've got a 7 tackle set, you don't need to. You'll work your way up the field. You don't need to first tackle. You don't need to just shift it wide and just try and attack straight away.
It's funny how bad things can go too. Like you go from a 7 tackle set, you know you're going to get to put in probably an attacking kick at the end of that set.
Yeah.
And then next minute you're behind the post and you stand there wondering what happens.
Yeah, that's literally the worst possible outcome for a 20-metre tap.
From the tap.
Yeah.
I was thinking Tedesco ends up going over next. And that play I pointed out to you straight away when it happened. I said that is almost a shot for shot remake of when Manu broke his jaw last year. I thought it was literally almost the same blade of grass.
Yeah, pretty much.
They shifted from the middle, Tedesco out the back, tip on to Manu. Manu busts through the line, goes back on the inside with the underarm pass.
Yeah.
The only difference here is Latrell does not attack the ball.
Yeah. He just stands there.
Well, what happens?
Well, Tedesco scores. Yeah, Tedesco scores. So
if you're the Rabbitohs coach, you're not happy with Latrell there. No. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, that's good that he didn't take him out this time or whatever." It's not about taking him out. It's about shutting down the ball. If he shuts down the ball, they don't score.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You can go back and look at the play. Latrell remains passive, and he almost at a standstill when the ball's passed. That's how passive he is.
Yeah,
and then they end up going over. If that's in a grand final, is that what you want your fullback to do?
Definitely not. I'd prefer what happened last year.
As bad as it is.
Yeah.
It was a terrible. I've got it written here. A terrible injury. You don't want to see players get injured, but you do want to see your players fight to save tries. You want to see your players attack the ball, and I think it was evident that obviously that was on his mind. That was a different Latrell to what we're used to seeing. I think he played very well. He come back in the second half. They played really well. To South's credit, I think they got scored off scored against right after half time and still managed to go on with it.
Yep.
But that moment there, it would worry me as a South fan, to be honest.
Oh, I don't think it would worry me so much.
Well, I think you want him playing the way he plays, the way that's made him probably a top 5 player in the competition for the last 3 years, like maybe even longer. I think you want him attacking the ball at all times, playing with that intensity, and that wasn't there on that particular moment, and I thought that was a bit worrying.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Worrying.
Anyway, that was a good game, good win for South. I think that gets them off the duck egg. I think
They
were 0-2 before that.
They were too, yeah.
Yeah. So good on them. They'll bounce in the next week. Hopefully that brings them a little bit of confidence. Thought Ilias probably had his best outing as in a South jersey. He probably needed a game like that too.
Yeah. We'll see how he goes next week.
Yeah. On to, I think, your favourite game of the round. I know we missed this game, but you've got to be happy. Eels beat the Storm in Melbourne. Where are you at?
I'm happy. I'm stoked. We've now won our last 3 against Melbourne, so
I wonder if that's happened many times in history to anyone.
I doubt it. So para for premiers this year.
It's a great win.
Yeah. I thought Ray Stone was great. Both of his tries were just effort plays, like nothing doing in both of them. He just works. But unfortunately, he did his ACL.
Yeah.
When he put that step on Jerome Hughes to score that try, and he's now out for the season. So
that's a real shame for the Eels. I think Bloke in a Bar put up something that just encapsulated everything about that play. He put up a freeze frame of the shot at field goal, and there's one player moving towards the ball in the whole ground, and that's Ray Stone.
Yeah,
and he chases the ball as if he's chasing a kick downfield, like just a normal kick. He just starts getting on his bike. No one else reacts. Everyone else is watching the ball, and he puts himself in a position to win the game. The coaches should be showing that to the kids all around Australia, really, because that's how you got to react. The ball's always alive. So that was really good to see. The Eels, for Eels fans, you shouldn't really be that shocked, because these are the games where the Eels play the best. It's against the best sides.
Yeah.
It's the games where you play sides that you should beat, that you seem to play your worst footy.
Yeah, against the worse the team is, the worse Parramatta play.
Yeah, talk about going down to their level.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's probably really hard to be an Eels fan, to be honest. Ray Stone, terrible news for him. Terrible news for Para too, because I think would he end up going in the centres for use most of the game in that game? So obviously he's versatile, and he's going to lose a little bit of depth there. But what better way to go out than scoring a game winner in Melbourne against Melbourne in extra time for a club that I think he's played pretty good footy for. So I'm keen to see what he can do under Wayne Bennett, and I think he'd be sorely missed by Parramatta.
Yeah, he definitely will. I think he's grown into kind of a fan favourite for just his big hits, intensity, all that. So good luck to him.
He's managed to change Para's opinion on him. I know he was not a fan favourite at the end of that last semi-final last year.
I think I saw a few posts talking about redemption and all that. But he was good for that game. He was just a couple bad errors in that second half.
He was gassed out, bro. He's gassed out, and that's unfortunately what it is. Raiders 24, Titans 22. I was absolutely kicking myself after this one. I picked the Raiders, but I told you, and I said it on my live stream. I done my tipping video, and I said I was taking the Raiders because the Titans give up too many points. They're averaging 25 odd points against this season, 24 last season. And I said when the Raiders score 24 or more points at home, they've won 10 out of the last 11. Then I reshot the tips video because it was too long, and I just left that stat out. And what happened? The bloody Raiders scored 24 points and beat the Titans in a shootout. Kicking myself.
The Titans, man, they blew a 22-point lead. I was just like, when I was watching the highlights, I'm like, 22-0, almost around with like a minute to go in halftime, sorry, and then the Raiders get one just before halftime, and then second half comes, Titans just went missing. Don't know.
It was one-way traffic in the second half.
Yeah,
absolutely one-way traffic.
Complete opposite of the first half.
Yeah, but the Titans, they have such an ability with the ball. It's special to watch sometimes when they have the ball. They can hit you anywhere. They got so much strike, but their defense sometimes it looks like they're defending next to strangers. Seriously, their defensive reads, no, it's like one person not closing on the inside, someone not working from outside in. Like no one's working together. Everyone's an individual. People are shooting out. People are staying back. Like got no idea what's going on in defense, and they're never going to be a consistently competitive team in this competition unless they can not only stop giving away tries, but stop giving away tries in bunches.
Yeah.
Seems like if a team's going to score against them, they're going to score 3 in a row. So they just can't. They can't swing any momentum. The referee did stuff up a tackle count, and it led to the Raiders' first try. I'm pretty sure it was right on halftime.
Yep.
It was off kickoff set. I watched the replay. I don't know how you can't count to 5. Let's be honest. But, I mean, how many times do they do it? And they probably count thousands of tackles a year, maybe even more, and they get it wrong maybe once or twice. So, I don't think it lost the Raiders the game. I don't think it lost the Titans the game. It didn't help.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're up 22-0. You can't be losing that game.
Yeah. With you talking about someone not being able to count to 5 reminds me of something that happened.
Let's not talk about the Sharkies. Yeah, no.
No. I was talking about something else, but because I literally said that to someone the other day.
Okay. The thing is, and another reason why I don't think it lost them the game, because no one knew it on the field. Like the Raiders thought it was last tackle.
Yeah.
Like when he called last, they got the ball. It was the Titans thought it was last tackle. When they called last, Fermor got the ball and it was a shocking kick. So, I mean, I don't think it lost them the game, but it's still not great.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go on to my favourite game of the weekend. The Cowboys 38, Broncos 12. Cowboys, absolutely outstanding performance, I thought. They showed confidence without the ball. I think, I don't want to sound like I'm going over the top, but I think it was one of the most complete performances the Cowboys have had in the last 4 years.
I was going to say,
I think their ability.
Go on.
Yep. No, you go.
I was just going to say.
Let me know if I'm being going too far.
No. I think you're spot on. I think it was a near perfect game for him. I thought that their intensity in defense, goal line defense, everything.
That's where I'm going. I think with the ball, we were just outstanding. Everyone knew their role. Everyone was just everything they did was with a purpose, and the same with their defense. And you could see they were all invested in the result. Anytime there was a drop ball or a big tackle, everyone was getting around. Whoever made that tackle, and that breeds a lot of confidence throughout your whole team. And the more that the game went on, I just could not see the Broncos doing anything. You know what I mean? I think they scored one penalty try, which was just a blatant penalty try. Like it felt through into the side, and I can't remember the last try they scored, but the Cowboys dominated everything in between.
I was going to say with that the penalty try, I think that would have gone just the way whatever the ref would have said. If the ref had been like, just check for a penalty try, like just check the like onside for the kick or something, and gave it a no try.
Yeah,
I think the video ref would have ruled with the referee.
It was a bit of a tough one because it was a bit of a technical one. I was happy with the call of him running him onside. But I say what you mean. They're both very close.
Yeah, they're both close. I think that it was 50-50 with those ones. But again, I'm happy with the call.
Yeah. For the Cowboys, I want to say, like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. They still haven't played a top 8 side from last year, firstly. And the 3 teams that they have played, I've picked to not make the 8 this year. So I don't think they've played that good of teams, and I think the Raiders had a really poor outing against them. But to only concede 8 points through the first 3 weeks of the competition, I think 8 points per game through the first 3 weeks of the competition, I think any side would be happy with that.
Yeah, well, to go on about you saying them not playing that good of quality of opponent, they did complete at 91%.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
yeah.
I mean, and you beat a lot of teams when you complete higher. So,
yeah, that's a good point. I guess they can't control who they're going to play. They can only play how they're going to play. So
yeah,
that's a fair point. It's going to be interesting to see how we go against a team that a lot of people have probably tipped to play very well this year, and that's the Roosters. We got them at home next week. So it'll be an interesting matchup. But I want to just, before we move on, I want to touch on Nanai. Jeez, he's a talent, eh?
Yeah, he is, definitely.
His ability to get up for the ball, too, on those cross-field kicks, he's become an absolute target for those.
Yeah. He's made himself a target. He competes. And I think that's what went wrong with the Broncos. They just weren't competing. Like, Bombs and that, they weren't really competing for the ball. They were just content with trying to keep the Cowboys in their own half. So, yeah. And another thing, Payne Haas only got 57 minutes on the weekend. I think that's not enough. I think he needs to be playing 65, 70, maybe even more, 75 minutes, because he's got the motor to play for that long and still have an impact late in the game.
And he's proved that time and time again.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Nene is a bolter for Queensland if he decides to go there. I think he's a red-hot chance of getting a bench spot for Queensland. I'm happy with the Cowboys, where the Cowboys are at. I'm not getting carried away. I still... Look, it's a really, really early in the season. How many times we've seen teams play well for the first 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds and then fall off a cliff. But there are really good signs for the Cowboys, especially defensively, coming from the second worst defensive... worst defensive team in the comp last year. Now, we're currently sitting at the best. So, that's really good. On to the last game. This was a bludger. An absolute bludger. 13, Manly 13, they get their first win of the year over the Dogs 12. The Dogs, every game for them has been decided by 6 points or less. Thoughts?
Well, at least they're having a run. Look, I think a lot of people picked Manly to absolutely romp the Doggies. Pardon me. But I thought in patches, the Doggies, they had, pretty good goal line defence. You saw that the effort was there. Even though some of their plays might not have been really coming off or whatever, but I think it's good signs for them at least.
I thought a lot of people have been talking about the hooker for the Bulldogs coming into the year, like they're going to have to wait for Marnie to get there. Marshall King's playing some pretty good footy at the moment. I think he's picked up daily end points in the last 2 weeks. I think he's playing pretty well. The Bulldogs really hung tough, and they hung tough last week as well, to the point where I thought they should have won last week. This week, I don't think they troubled Manly that often in attack, but they were still in the game with 5 to go. So good effort from the Bulldogs. There's definitely good signs there for them, and like we said earlier, I think everyone's buying into what they're trying to do. We all knew it was going to take time, but they need to decide on a halfback. They dropped Avarillo didn't play this week. They played
Wakeham.
His name? Wakeham. And then Bondiotto, he played okay off the bench, I thought, for him.
We said this before the season started. We need to get Kyle Flanagan back in.
They hate Flanagan.
Yeah, I don't know why. He's a good player.
They hate Flanagan.
Yeah.
That Bondiotto, he's from the Cowboys, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, he's from North Queensland. I think the Broncos and the Cowboys both passed on him.
Well, there you go, and he's not doing too bad at the Doggies.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on, just before we finish up, how do you think Reynolds is going for the Bronx?
I think it's a bit, what's the word? Not underwhelming, but I don't think he's really living up to the hype there. I think he's doing like a good job, but he was kind of brought in to save that team. And
I wonder if he's injured. I wonder if he picked something up through the off season, because he just doesn't look like he's 100% right now.
Yeah,
it might take him a few weeks to get that fitness back up or something, because he just doesn't look 100% to me. But I still think the Broncos will be all right. That's going to be a bit of a wake up call for him on the weekend. They were pretty poor.
Yeah,
but I like their squad. They've got to be better this year than they have been.
Yeah, for over the last few years, I think. Since 2019, was it?
Yep.
2019?
No. 2020. 2020, they won the spoon.
And they
They're terrible that year. But they did start off the year too. They were 2-0 that year, and then COVID hit. And since COVID, go on skis.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, that's the TryLine podcast for this week. Danny, the Eels going to win the comp in 2022?
Without a doubt. And for the foreseeable future.
Cowboys, Eels grand final. Put your money on it there. Cowboys by 20.
No, Eels by 20.
Cowboys by at least 20, boy.